happening, guys? We are here. We are live. I was about to say Thursday, and then I just looked at the calendar and I realized it's not Thursday yet, but we are here. We are live. Big up to everybody that is locked in on this wonderful Wednesday afternoon. Day 4, I guess, is the FA Cup. If you want to say if you want to say that, but it's a slow day. I've realized life goes so slow, or maybe just like football life goes so slow when there's no football on. When there's no football on and you're just sitting there waiting around to hear some news, it is a drag. But there is news happening around the football world, just not, to be honest, not really Manchester United stuff. There's a few Manchester United stuff out and about right now, so we're going to talk about that. But today we're also going to talk about some non-Manchester United news. Be sure to hit the like button and be sure to subscribe. I think it's the Conference League final today. Fiorentina versus Olympiacos should be an interesting game, that one as well. Fiorentina, I think that's their second Conference League final in a row. Maybe they can finally win it without Amrabat, but it's okay because Amrabat got his FA Cup trophy. So that's all that matters. Big up to everyone. Be sure to hit the like button and be sure to subscribe. Listen, the news, it's not really news in this week, guys. The news is not news. I know everybody's kind of like on the edge of their seats. Everyone's kind of like waiting for news about Manchester United and, you know, the future of Manchester United in terms of who's going to be sitting in that dugout. But there's not really much to talk about. Now, if you are in the world of obviously Manchester United, which I anticipate you are, hold on, let me try and phrase this in the best way possible. Muppeteers. I know you lot are familiar with the Muppeteers, or it's a person or a team or a group, said on their YouTube channel, mentioned some updates. Not really updates, but more so, listen, they've never been a hit and miss kind of thing with the information that they get about Manchester United. It's always been very, very accurate. And the news there is the situation is still the same as last week. Erik ten Hag is very likely to leave Manchester United, and there is no new information yet to suggest otherwise. I think that in itself is a statement. I think that itself is kind of, it might be an indication of where Man United are heading. I think, you know, the managerial route of stuff for Manchester United right now, we're going to talk about it a bit more in depth. But before I get to that, this is not really Manchester United related. But I cannot not speak about this. I cannot not speak about this, if you guys know what I mean. I'm just going to maximize this a little bit just so that you guys can get a better view of it. Can you? Yep, that should be all right. Yeah, no, that's not all right. I'm so bad at tech, guys. I'm so bad at technology. Like I'm actually so bad at this. There you go. Okay, I think that should be okay. Let me just make it bigger. I keep messing it up, bro. What the hell? What the hell, man? All right. I'm just gonna leave it like this. I'm just gonna leave it like this because there is some news coming out of Burnley. I saw this news actually yesterday, but this is an official article with a statement from the club and the FA. If you lot don't know, just for some context, an individual head of player care, or a consultant for player care at Burnley was being investigated by the FA for liking content online, on Twitter in particular, regarding the conflict in Palestine. Now, some of the stuff, trigger warning, included saying that Palestinians were invented people, another stating good riddance in regards to a death of a civilian in Gaza, and another talking about the faith of those in Palestine. Now, the investigation has since been concluded by the club and the FA. The FA just formally warned her, and the club have concluded that on the balance of probabilities, the tweets were not Islamophobic and did not bring the club into disrepute. Now, the only reason why I'm bringing it up, guys, is I work in the world of football, innit? I work in the world of football, and if shit like that is okay, then I have no hope. I really have no hope. But it's absolutely disgusting. She shouldn't have a job. I'll be for real. And I'll make my points and I'll make my feelings definitely known to the people at the FA. I know people at the FA. I've worked with them before, so I'll definitely let my feelings be known. However, let's just keep it going. Let's get a move on. Big up to everyone. Be sure to hit the like button. Be sure to subscribe. I need to pick up my sister from work, so I need to make sure that, you know, I'm not late. I need to make sure I'm not late. What's her name? Her name is Laura Wolf. Her name is Laura Wolf at the at Burnley. Sorry. And it's quite funny because Burnley have had Muslim players over the last couple of years. And talking about Burnley, this is a great transition. Great transition. Vincent Kompany becomes Bayern Munich's manager. Bro, what the hell? What the hell is going on in the world of football if Burnley have let Vincent Kompany go and Bayern Munich have put their stocks in him? Like, am I the only person that's thinking this is probably the most unusual call up? I can't lie. If it wasn't for his links to Manchester City, I wouldn't be happy for him. I would be happy for him, sorry, if he was not a Man City legend. I can't be happy for him because he's a Man City legend, but he's a black man, manager of probably one of the biggest clubs in Germany, one of the biggest clubs in European football. So I have to respect that, you know, and that's why I'm very interested to see what happens with Kieran McKenna, because Vincent Kompany is further proof that it don't matter if you got relegated, bro. And I'm not saying necessarily it's a bad thing. I'm just saying that he is proof that it does not matter if you get relegated, because you will always find a job. You will always find a job out there in the world. Now, I'm very interested to see what it is that they really kind of saw in him in terms of the football aspect. He's going to be coaching players that he played up against. Do you know how funny that is? I saw a picture of him and Thomas Muller, and now he's going to be Thomas Muller's manager. Listen, it's very interesting. I'm interested to see what happens with Bayern Munich. You know, you lot know I'm a big fan of Musiala. He will carry Germany, I think, this year to at least the semi-finals of the Euros. So I'll be interested to see what happens with him at a club level in terms of Bayern Munich replacing him or giving him a new contract. I think having a young manager to be the face of their project, it might work in the favor of people like Musiala, the younger players kind of coming through. Then they got Coman, they got Sane. Sane's being reunited with a guy that he played with. That is so funny. Like, I can't. Like, good luck to Vincent Kompany in it. Good luck to him. I saw and I saw the Burnley fans being very gracious with his departure. They were like, "Thank you for everything, you know, for the championship run last year, 2 years ago, and then getting us to the Prem." And they were very gracious with his departure. I thought that they'd be like the Leicester fans who were not happy that they've just lost their manager to Chelsea. But hey, we ain't here to talk about Chelsea. Another one before we kind of get into Manchester United stuff. Hansi Flick, Barcelona manager. It looks like every club that had a decision to make about their manager has made the decision except for Manchester United. Everyone has made it except for Manchester United. Bayern Munich had a vacancy, they filled it. Barcelona had a vacancy, they filled it. Chelsea had a vacancy, they filled it. What's it called? Milan had a vacancy, they filled it. And Napoli have signed Conte. Conte is going to Napoli. And yet Manchester United still cannot decide whether or not Erik ten Hag is the man to take them forward. Now, obviously, guys, I got a theory regarding Erik ten Hag, but we're going to talk about it more in detail when we kind of get to talking about the manager. But Hansi Flick, I think he quadruple winner, or he's won everything. I think he's won everything in 1 year. I think he ran in 1 year. He won everything. Excuse me. So that's going to be an interesting one. But as I mentioned earlier, statement from the Muppeteers suggesting that the situation. Let me zoom in for my people that ain't got great eyesight. The situation is still the same as last week. Erik ten Hag is very likely. That's the key term. Very likely to leave Manchester United. And there's no new information yet to suggest otherwise. Now, I know that at Manchester United right now, I feel like it's just a roundabout. It's just like a merry-go-round where people are jumping on and off. 1 minute they're backing the manager, 1 minute they're not really sold on the manager. I genuinely think Sir Jim Ratcliffe wants Southgate. Like, I don't know what it is, but something in my heart, and I wish I'm wrong, I hope I'm wrong, but something inside my heart is telling me that he wants Southgate. And the thing is that Southgate is not going to talk to these men until after the Euros. Erik ten Hag got 1 year left on his contract. What's the likelihood Erik ten Hag stays? Not because they want him to, but because it gives them enough time to sit down with Southgate and basically sway his choice. Because Southgate hasn't got long left with England. And obviously, if they want to, they can buy him out of his contract. It won't be that difficult. And of course, it's a major competition, so he's focused completely on that. But something is telling me that Southgate will be Manchester United manager next year. I don't know what it is. I don't know. It's just, when you got a very, like, a strong feeling in your gut, that's how I'm feeling. That's how I'm feeling about pretty much all of this. I think, if for me, they choose, if INEOS come out today and say, we back Erik ten Hag, don't back him by keeping him for 1 year for that. Back him by giving him a new contract. That's not me saying that he deserves a new contract, but I'm saying if you're going to be all in, you be all in. You give him a 2-3 year extension and you say we are backing this guy completely, because that's what it means to back someone. You see, Chelsea just brought in Enzo Maresca, 5-year deal. 5-year deal. Obviously, Chelsea's sacking hire managers like no man's business, so I can't really compare it. But the thought process that I'm having is, well, if they are going to say they're backing Erik ten Hag, back him by giving him an extension on his contract and then saying we're all in. Don't back him by saying we're going to keep him for the rest of for 1 more year. That's not backing a manager. Is that news legitimate? It is. It's from the Muppeteers' recent stream. I think they've just finished their stream now on YouTube. I'm sure there's more information as well, so I'm going to try fish out for some of that right now. I've zoomed in on my screen, so it's kind of hurting my eyes. My eyesight is so bad. Let me see if there's any other news from their stream. But I was watching that stream earlier. Now there's not really much else outside of that. But it does make me curious to think maybe you lot are saying I'm mad. New contract. Are you mad? I'm not saying give him a new contract, guys. Let me land. I'm not saying give him a new contract. I'm saying if they are gonna say that they're backing him, you back him by being all in. Don't back him by saying we're gonna give you 1 more year of your contract. That's not backing him. That is gonna further, I think, confirm to me that Southgate is coming next season. That's good. If INEOS turn around next week and say Erik ten Hag will remain Manchester United manager for 1 more season for the rest of his contract, and then we are going to reassess again next year. Wallahi, guys, Southgate is coming. Southgate is coming to Old Trafford. I'm telling you, because the more I watch Sir Jim Ratcliffe out speaking about Manchester United, this whole idea about English-owned, English-driven, English players or British players, why would they not want, like, this is not me saying Southgate should be manager, guys. This is not me. And I think he's liked by people like I think it was mentioned that he's liked by Sir Dave Brailsford, etc. They are fans of Southgate. They like Southgate. I mean, anyone who's the manager of the national team, people are gonna like him, especially if you're low-key a nationalist. So I'm not surprised that they like him. But I'm just saying that you look at the market of managers right now. De Zerbi, Thomas Tuchel, Poch, I can't even say McKenna. It's really De Zerbi, Thomas Tuchel, and Poch. Guys, who out of the 3 of them do you genuinely think will be the manager mold that this INEOS structure are looking for? Genuinely, what do you think that? I don't think Thomas Tuchel matches what they're looking for. I don't think Thomas Tuchel matches that. I don't think Pochettino matches what they're looking for in a manager. I think Kieran McKenna did in some ways. I don't think De Zerbi matches what they're looking for either. I genuinely don't think that. So, and we're gonna come to it because there was reports as well yesterday about what it is exactly that they're looking for in terms of in a manager. Let me actually find that. Here it is. Here we go. The 5 rules or the 5 commandments. Astaghfirullah. The 5 rules under Sir Jim Ratcliffe and Manchester United. Number 1, an age limit of 25 for new signings. It looks like, can I say, guys, are we going down except for the money aspect, are we going down the Chelsea route of stuff? Are we going down the Chelsea route of stuff? Because I'm not going to lie, anything under 25 and under, okay, cool, but we're going to need experience in the team. Manchester United will 100% need some form of experience. Yeah? I'm like, you lot are fucked up. What the hell, man? Let me see what the comments are saying before I actually go into these 5 rules. I don't know what minutes consumed in the last 24 hours, but this Southgate feeling you need to take some laxatives. Jay says, Mina, surely like players, the manager needs to prove that he deserves a new contract. Ten Hag hasn't done that. I agree. I do agree with that. I don't think he deserved a new contract, guys, but I am saying that he deserves, he deserves that. Big up to Ed says, big up Queen Mina, aka John Obi Mina, aka don't kill me with these names. Don't kill me with these names. You know, guys, I change my opinion every single flipping day. I'm not joking. Every day I've been changing my opinion. You know what my opinion is now, guys? I don't care anymore. And you know what? If you ask me about the manager, where I stand on the manager, I'm at a point now where I'm just indifferent. I just want this to be over. I want a solution. If it's the man, okay, good. I'm just tired. I'm just fed up of it all. I'm not kidding, guys. I'm actually just fed up of it all. Every day, like a crackhead, I'm opening my phone, going on Manchester United news. I'm just trying to find something, anything, just to put me out of my misery of this roundabout that we find ourselves in. I keep calling it a roundabout. It's a merry-go-round. That's what it is. Big up to Riri, man. Community Queen says, this fan base has no patience. And if or when we change another manager, it'll be this discussion all over again. Abe's World says, that's Ragnick and RB Leipzig route. They got consultation from Ragnick. But I don't get it. One thing I don't understand about, because I was talking about this yesterday on another stream. We were talking about it with a Chelsea fan, and the Chelsea fan was suggesting that they're going down the RB Leipzig route as well, and I think that works for RB Leipzig because they're not expected to the RB Leipzig are not expected to compete in the league, in the Champions League. Essentially, they are, I don't want to say a feeder club, but you know, they're not expected to win Premier League league titles. Manchester United cannot go down the RB Leipzig route because there's expectations on the back of on Manchester United's shoulders of winning trophies. RB Leipzig or RB Salzburg, for example, by the way, they buy players and then have them for a year or two and then sell them on for big prices. You know, so many players have come from RB Leipzig, RB Salzburg as well. One of my favorite players at Monaco right now, Mohamed Kamara, he came from RB Salzburg. And what they do is they obviously buy from other clubs. They buy young players, 19-year-olds, 18-year-olds, 20-year-olds, etc., develop them for a year or two and sell them. They brought Castello Luqueba from Lyon, turned him into a good player. Mohamed Simikan as well. Manchester United are not, I think, they shouldn't be doing that. They should have a balance of both where they are essentially developing their academy players and then, you know, buying talents from teams such as RB Leipzig and teams such as, you know, Salzburg and all these other developmental teams that are producing these young players. I don't think when you say the RB Leipzig route, maybe that's in reference in terms of you know, just signing younger players. But the 5 rules essentially is very interesting to me because I think 1 or 2 of them will set out what exactly Manchester United are going to end up with in the next couple of weeks. If you just come through, be sure to hit the like button and be sure to subscribe. So as I mentioned, number 1, age limit, 25 years or younger. I don't know how I feel about that because you need to buy experience. I think you need to be what's the word, smart with it when you're buying experience. You know, we've just lost 1 or 2 of the biggest I would say we're about to lose two of the most influential senior people in terms of leadership qualities in the teams, in Rafael Varane and Casemiro. That's the most important thing. I hope the mods are modding in the chat. Thank you very much. Mods, you can extend your powers, man. It's all right. But we've lost Varane. That's a leader. I don't care about his age. He's 29 or 30. Casemiro's leaving. Another player over 30. Johnny Evans over 30. But these are leadership qualities that you need to have in your dressing room. These are leadership qualities that you need to have around your young players. Because you look at the route Chelsea have gone down, and Chelsea fans are pulling out their hair left, right, centre. I know they're not happy with the circumstances, at Stamford Bridge right now. I know that they're not happy with the situation. I remember people talking about, I see Chelsea, I know a lot of Chelsea fans that they were talking about how they would never ever sign a manager or get a manager from Championship. And then lo and behold, they ended up with a manager from the Championship. I can't laugh at them. And I it's not funny, but the route that Chelsea are going down is a similar route to this. Signing younger players, just going around signing XYZ, especially although they had a lot of money to spend. Jay says 25 is experience. That's true. It depends how young you're going below 25. If you're saying 20, you're 20? Yeah, 20 is not really... I don't know how much experience a young player can have at 20. He could be like a Bukayo Saka who has come onto the scene at a young age, or he could be someone that didn't really play like Ahmad until he was a bit older. So 20 for me is a bit questionable. Of course, 23, 24, 25. You look at the kind of players that we're actually linked to in the summer transfer window, and these are all young players. These are all young players. Even, Branthwaite, Elise, which we're going to talk about, because that is just one that I'm not really sure about. I'm not going to lie. I'm not 100% sure about the Elise signing. But you even talk about, we look at, the financial aspect of how we're going to be signing people, and we're going to have a breakdown. Shout out to the Swedish Ramble, I think their name is, on Twitter, did an amazing thread on the finances of Manchester United, and emphasis has been placed a lot on the financial position of Manchester United, and the amortization and the salaries and the transfer fees, and if they can recoup everything. I was reading an article today that was saying that Manchester United the INEOS are reassessing the 400 million that's been spent in the last two windows, and they've realized that either half of them were overpaid and half of them it's time to move them on already. Do you know how crazy that is? It was basically suggesting that most of the people that has been brought over the last two windows have either been overpaid, and we should never have paid for that, but we know that we know that that's the case, or if they weren't overpaid, they've not really impressed, and it's time to try and move them on. And then you have other people that United are going to try to move on. Obviously, they're getting the Martial wages off the book. They got the Varane wages off the book. So hopefully, financially, United might be in a better position. But the magic number I've seen to be flying around is 130 million for transfers this summer. And that is including player sales. That is including 130 million, including player sales, and it's being kind of based down to the fact that a lot of it had already been spent in the last two windows. Basically, what's the word? I don't want to say recklessly, but it's been spent recklessly. But anyway, on to the second one. No Galacticos. From what I'm gathering, the no Galacticos is, and I might be misunderstanding this, but let me know if you lot agree, no superstars. We're not building a team of superstars like the Real Madrid Galacticos. That's what I'm understanding from this. And Sir Jim Ratcliffe has always been kind of big on, well, what did he say? I don't want to sign Mbappe, but I don't want to sign Mbappe. I want to sign the next Mbappe. So it's always about finding the next big talent in Europe. To do that, or not just in Europe, but South America, we will be behind the likes of Chelsea. Chelsea's already doing that. Chelsea have a whole, I think, base in Brazil, and they're just going around. Rio de Janeiro, signing this guy here. Oh, this Favala, I'm signing this guy here. Chelsea are just going to Brazil and signing everybody. And then you have Real Madrid, who since missing out on, who did they miss out on? Neymar? They said they missed out on signing Neymar many years ago, and they said we're never missing a Brazilian player ever again. And since then, how many Rodrigo they signed Vinicius. They've just signed this little kid as well. I forgot what his name is, but this young kid as well. Like, Manchester United need to set up scouting networks outside of Europe if they're going to compete with all these other clubs such as Real Madrid and Chelsea, etc. Chelsea right now got the money. They got the money. Endrick, there you go. That's his name. Real Madrid have the status. They got the status. Any young kid will want to play for Real Madrid. And I'm not saying that, you know, they wouldn't want to play for Manchester United, but Ronaldo came to Man United and his dream was to play for Real Madrid, and he went there. I'm already hearing people talking about how Garnacho is going to go to Real Madrid in the next couple of years. So we're basically becoming a feeder club. If Sir Jim Ratcliffe is serious about this idea of no Galacticos, you need to go out and set up big scouting networks, dominant scouting networks, and you have to compete with Chelsea. You have to compete with Real Madrid. You have to compete with these other clubs in Europe that have better scouting networks than Manchester United. It's not enough just to say, oh, we don't want to sign Mbappe, we want to sign the next Mbappe. That's not enough. You need to, if you're going to talk the talk, you need to walk the walk. So for me, Sir Jim Ratcliffe, that's another thing that he has to do. Matt says Madrid's transfer strategy would have been perfect for us, but our rep is in the mud. Manchester United, over the last 10 years, have ruined their reputation. They've ruined their reputation, and INEOS have their work cut out for them to kind of, what's it called? Rework that. They got their work cut out for them to kind of rework that. But the funny thing is, the funny thing that makes me laugh the most is that I'm hoping with the likes of Umar Barada, Dan Ashworth coming in, Jason Wilcox, etc. These are people with good reputations and good relationships with people across the world. And hopefully after that, they will put other people in place to all that other stuff. So I'm hoping that will be the case, and that will help Sir Jim Ratcliffe really implement this. What should we call these 5 rules, guys? Somebody in the chat said the 5 rules to date a rat. I thought that was actually kind of mean. What should we call these 5 rules? Because every time I'm going to reference the 5 rules, I need to know exactly how to reference it. I need to know how to reference it. However, on to the next one, which is point number 3, style of play. So we've gone through transfer. They've gone through two of the points of these 5 points are transfers. The 5 commandments. It might have to be the 5 commandments. The famous 5. That's a good one. The 5 rules of strength. That's a good. I think I don't know. Commandments is like we have to obey it. I don't want to obey these rules, but INEOS might have to obey these rules. So we might have to call it the 5 commandments. The style of play is the 3rd one, which says the style of play to be set by technical director Jason Wilcox. If you lot are new here, then obviously this might sound like news to you. But guys, if you're not new here, you know I've been saying this for months and months, probably from when INEOS were first announced back in November times. I said I will be very shocked if they don't come in and say that the person that they're going to implement into specific areas will decide the style of play that's played, and the manager will just have to implement it. I said this before there was even talks about Erik ten Hag kind of getting sacked, before there was even talks about whether he would last next season. I said that INEOS will probably come in and try to replicate what Manchester City are doing. They're going to use the Man City blueprint right now. Man City, in terms of their first team, in terms of their academy, in terms of the women's team, everything is quite the same. And not only that, the women's team has a separate identity to the men's team. I think that, unfortunately, a lot of what we hear about from INEOS right now, all the reports that we hear about, is kind of focused on the men's team. So we don't really know what the plan is for the women's team. But if Jason Wilcox, for me, is going to decide the style of play, that means he and the recruitment team will be solely to blame for transfers not working out. Whether United can't get a transfer over the line, whether United overpay, whether United miss out on a target, anything to do with transfers, it will be based on the head of recruitment and the senior members of staff. The manager won't be able to hold any more licks in the way that Erik ten Hag has. And obviously, I think Erik ten Hag has had... he's held a lot of licks this season regarding all the transfers that he's brought in. Oh, it's from 8 Simple Rules. I used to love 8 Simple Rules. That was one of my favorite TV shows growing up. That was one of my favorite TV shows. I can't believe I can't believe I didn't understand. I didn't clock that reference. I can't believe I did not clock that reference. Be sure to hit the like button, guys, and be sure to subscribe if you've just come through. If you want to join the membership club, you can. It's the pinned comment in the chat. You get your badges, you get your emojis, you get your custom member content. Of course, you get to support the channel as well tomorrow. What do I have going on tomorrow on the channel? I've got Saeed on the channel tomorrow, I think. We're going to be talking, we're going to be debating. I think he won't be happy to hear that I've now changed my thoughts on the entire process of this manager. I'm just very indifferent, guys. I don't know if you lot feel the same, but don't you think it's been exhausting just waiting for news, waiting for a decision to be made, waiting for an outcome? I thought, off the back of Saturday, Sunday, Monday, I thought Monday we would have something, but it seems like Erik ten Hag's on holiday, rightfully so. Let him enjoy his time with his family. Let him enjoy his time with his wife. I just feel like it's just exhausting waiting for news. But anyway, point number 4 of the Magic 5 rules. The 5 rules to date the rat. Yeah, there you go. The 5 rules to date the rat. The manager will be asked what position he wants, not what player. So the manager cannot go and ask Ten Hag staying, I believe. I think so too. But like I said, if Ten Hag stays, it's because Southgate is coming to Old Trafford next season, guys. I hope you lot know that. Yeah. Ten Hag staying is because Southgate is coming to Manchester. And that's not me being an ITK. That's just my opinion. What happened to Dan Ashworth? He hasn't come in yet. He hasn't come in. I think they're still trying to pay his legal fees. And they're still trying to get him out of that garden leave. Is this the first time you two lot are doing a show together since you signed to KG? I'm on a loan. Ten Hag enjoying his holiday. He can't even enjoy his holiday without the worrisome idea that he might get sacked. And can I just say also, it's quite sad for Ten Hag. I don't know if you lot feel the same, but I do think it's sad the way that the club has dealt with this, because he should have full transparency as to whether he still has a job or not. How can you be on holiday and you don't know if you have a job or not? Because they're saying we haven't made a decision yet. That's sad. We could talk about whether he deserves it or not. We could talk about all of that stuff, but that I think is quite unfortunate. And I think I said this a couple days ago, and I'm gonna stick by it. If Erik ten Hag stays, forget the Southgate thing, yeah, because that's just my opinion. But if Southgate stays, it's gonna be because of the crop of managers that are available that they don't really want. Right now, I feel like a lot of the managers that are at the dispense or are available are managers that INEOS don't really want. If they had their number one choice, I genuinely think Ten Hag would have been gone by now. Like, genuinely, I think Erik ten Hag would have been gone by now if they had their number one choice ready to sign on the dotted line. And that is why I'm saying, guys, it's going to be Southgate. It's gonna be Southgate. And it just, like, let's try to think of it logically, guys. Let's try to think of it from a logical perspective. Don't you think if INEOS had the manager that they want, that they would have made a decision by now? So clearly, what must be stopping them? I don't know. It's just, I'm just, guys, if I had a whiteboard right here, guys, I'd say 1 + 1. I'm adding 1 + 1 right now, and I'm getting 572. I'm getting 500. Maybe I'm overthinking it. Maybe I'm overthinking the situation. Maybe I'm overthinking just everything. But I just genuinely feel like they would have made a decision by now had they had the manager that they want ready to sign on the dotted line. And maybe they just don't. If Southgate became Manchester United manager, the fact that I have to watch Southgate this summer, yeah, and cheer for the England team, that in itself is disappointing. But the thought of a guy with a waistcoat sitting in the dugout. Ooh, I hear sirens outside. Ed says, to be frank, I'd rather this than LVG situation where he officially got sacked the day before the final. But the thing is like, he was officially sacked the day before the final because they had the manager they wanted. They wanted Jose Mourinho. He was there ready to sign on the dotted line. So this is literally like, let's compare the two situations right now at hand. let's compare that. Although the circumstances are quite different, because I think the Premier League seasons were a bit different. Obviously, both teams won the FA Cup. One, Van Gaal beat a mid-table team. Ten Hag beat a top side. Aside from all of that, just think of like the fundamental part of both situations. Both managers' jobs on the line. One of them, it was clear he was getting sacked. It was clear that he was getting sacked. Why? Because Jose signed his contract on the dotted line. Whereas right now, INEOS are out still trying to figure out who do we want? Listen, they want Southgate. I don't know what it is. They want him. Keegan says, I will not watch a match under Southgate. I'm sorry, he's the most I've ever seen. He's done absolutely nothing to deserve the United job. An English manager for an English club. That's how they're going to sell it. Big up to Wajid, says it's just corporate thinking that has been taking over football for years now in all the papers, because Man United leak everywhere. Man United is hot property. Everyone will talk about it. Like, everyone will talk about it. We're sitting here right now talking about it, so I hear it. Manchester United gets you the biggest clicks online, whether it's an article, whether it's a video, whether it's whatever it is. They get you the clicks. Kadeem says no, they want Dyche. Don't worry, Kadeem, our resident Everton fan, bro. No one's coming for Sean Dyche, so you don't worry. You can hold on to him. Because we are not coming for him. Inshallah, God willing. You never know what INEOS could flip and do. You actually do not know. Sack him on holiday like he sacked David De Gea while he was getting married. Come on, David De Gea was engaged to his wife, his fiance, for like how long? Come on, you can't compare the two. Buggy says, if it's Southgate, then we'll get a new guy in charge just before preseason. Great. And all the players have to adapt to a new model from scratch just before the season starts. Great. Now, I think with Southgate, I think I mentioned it earlier in the stream, but I think they are holding out for Southgate, but they need to wait after the Euros. So if they stay with Ten Hag for the, going into next season, come December time, if he's in a decent position in the Premier League top 4 and in a, Europe, still in the Europa League, okay, great. Southgate will come in the end of the season. If not, they'll, if United are 8th again and just on a bad run of games, they'll just sack him and probably have something done with Southgate. Southgate is a perfect fit. The tears he'll bring to the United fans will just blend into the waterfall feature. Nagelsmann, please mess up with Germany and get sacked. We need him. Didn't he just sign an extension as well with Germany? I swear he signed an extension. Anthony says, if Ten Hag gets sacked, the new coach is either going to be Poch or Tuchel. I don't know about Tuchel, guys. I don't think Tuchel's personality is what they want. Like saying it how it is, but Tuchel always seems to have issues at every club that he's at because of the way that he is. Like, the way that he is a bit too, I think, heavy-handed for an ownership. I just don't. Thomas Tuchel is the one that I do not see happening. Poch, maybe, like, it's very, very, like, 0.001%. Maybe. De Zerbi, maybe. Thomas Tuchel is a name that I think he's just been putting out there for himself. I think his team and his reps have been planting seeds in the media just to kind of get him a job back at the Premier League. And now he is all in for this job at Manchester United because the Chelsea job is gone. The Chelsea job is gone. The only other club, this guy was, excuse my language, but he was slutting himself for the Manchester United job in the media, saying, his people in his team saying that he would relish in the idea of being at Manchester United and he would love to coach Manchester. Like, come on. You can't tell me that's not someone that is dying for it. He's asking for it. He's dying for it. He's dying for the job. And like I said, now that Chelsea's kind of kept it moving, he has to. But anyways, quickly back to the 5 commandments. Number 5, INEOS to send list of 3 signings per position for the manager to choose from. So they're basically saying, essentially, the manager, and maybe this is all going back to the fact that Erik Ten Hag has had a lot of involvement in transfers. Maybe it's because of that, but they want less of that, less of a democracy. This is given. It's not really democracy. This is not. It's not a democracy. Not me, the person from Africa, talking about democracy. But this is not a democracy, and they don't want it to be a democracy. And I think for the way that United has operated over the last 10 years, I'm very intrigued to see how this is going to go, because this could really backfire, and it can turn out like Chelsea's situation, just minus the 1 billion being spent, but it can turn into a difficult situation. Or this might be exactly what Manchester United need, and exactly what the operations of the club need, and the manager, etc. Now, Eric Ten Hag joined Manchester United, and one of the first big parts of his contract was to have involvement in transfers. So I don't know if they're now going to have to alter his contract to say, well, you can't really be involved in the contract. Like you can suggest positions, but you can't make us go to Ajax and sign Anthony. If you say to us you want a right winger, we will bring the right wingers. You don't come and tell me I want this player, I want that player. So it'll be very, very interesting to see for me how it works out. And actually, funnily enough, talking about whether or not they would change his contract, Rich Fay said in his article today in Mank World that Manchester United's manager will have less influence over transfer decisions as part of the club's new strategy going forward. Ten Hag's prior recruitment powers will be taken away from him if he remains in the job. I'm not gonna lie, he has to hold that. Out of all the things that he's done, that one he has to hold. That one he has to hold, because the guy that brought us Anthony should never be allowed to ever be involved in the transfers again. And it's interesting to me because does he want that? Imagine Manchester United and Eric Ten Hag part ways, not because they want to get rid of him, but because Eric Ten Hag is not happy with the conditions being set out in his possible situation to remain at the club. Imagine that's why Ten Hag won't like that. I don't think he will. Anthony says, if Nagelmans comes out tomorrow and says that he can join Man United if we approach him, trust me, over 8% of United fans will be Ten Hag out by the morning. He's got a job at Germany, man. He's not going to. He can actually win the Euros with Germany. I think he could actually win the Euros. It's not a democracy, it's a dictatorship. Do as I say or you're fired. You're fired. You better come collect your P45 and keep it moving. Be sure to hit the like button, guys, if you've just come through. The likes and the views, it's not really adding up. So let's try and get that as close to each other as possible. If you want to join the membership club, you can. It's the pinned comment in the chat. You get your badges, you get your emojis, you get your custom member content as well. And of course, you get to support the growth of the channel. If you want to support the channel in other ways, you can do that by sending in super chats with your comments, with your questions, and just to support the growth of the channel. We've got content coming throughout the week. We got an amazing vlog coming on the weekend, some amazing member-only content coming on the weekend as well. So be sure to kind of look out for that as well. Now, quickly before we kind of go on to transfers, bro, keep your name out of our mouth. Keep Jurgen Klopp. Brother is unemployed. And he's still talking about Eric Ten Hag, and he's still talking about Manchester United. Come on. So he had an evening with Jurgen Klopp. I think it was an event yesterday, and they were talking about stuff. And he spoke about Jadon Sancho and Eric Ten Hag and Manchester United. And he said, if the whole world loses trust and faith in the player, and this is in reference to Jadon Sancho, then the manager has to be the one behind the player. I cannot just buy into that he's useless stuff, like other clubs did, by the way, buying a player for 80 million and then sending him out on loan. What? Come on, bro. Come on. I was about to say, you know what? I agree. You know me, I like to play devil's advocate sometimes. I sit here and say, I'm going to be devil's advocate. I'm not going to be devil's advocate. I am just happy for Jadon Sancho. That's it. He's in a Champions League final. Could find himself again at Borussia Dortmund next year. We don't know where that's going. But just because you brought a striker that had one of the worst conversion rates in the league, you should have took a leaf out of Eric Ten Hag's book and sent Nunes out on loan. You should have done that. The Nunes didn't even, guys. They were clapping for Jurgen Klopp in his last game. Nunes didn't even clap. He was just like this. So why don't we talk about your relationship with your players before you start talking about other people and their I just don't get it. Bro has flashbacks of Amad and Kobe. Amad Diallo single-handedly ruined that since that day downfall. downfall. Nothing was the same. Word to Drake, nothing was the same for Jurgen Klopp. I just don't get why he doesn't just focus on his own issues. Focus on his own issues. Jadon Sancho and Eric Ten Hag, that situation, you know, they found a temporary solution for it, which I think is encouraging. Would you have rather Jadon Sancho still be in the situation that he was 6-7 months ago, where he was, you know, exiled from the first team, exiled from Carrington first team area, not allowed to eat in the whole dressing room stuff? I found that a bit excessive. I'm not gonna lie. The whole canteen stuff, I found that a bit excessive. Not being allowed to come to games, I found that a bit excessive. He was going to the under 18 games, going to watch that instead. All of that, I found that a bit excessive. However, Manchester United found a short-term solution for all of that. And then on top of that, that gave them time to sort out the bigger issue. Keep it moving, man. I don't know. I don't know. Sorry, guys. I just had to kind of mention that. Now, on the topic of transfers, there's been a bit of transfer news. However, Daily Star, I'm gonna take it with the pinchiest of pinches. Yeah, I'm gonna take it with the pinchiest of pinches. But you know me, guys, I like a bit of transfer talk. I like a bit of transfer news. Reportedly, I don't know how likely this could be. I think it's more likely for me to wake up and there's a red Lamborghini in front of my house with my name on it. I think that is more likely to happen than this. I think it's more likely for the Crown Prince of Saudi Arabia to call me right now while I'm on stream and say that he's going to send me a private jet and I can park it in my garden. I think all of that is more like, I think the royal family in flipping Qatar are more likely to give me land. They're more likely to give me land than this is to happen. I think it's more likely for me to wear gold from top to bottom and not get robbed in the streets than this to happen. However, one thing I know for sure, I think Mason Greenwood will leave. I think he will leave Manchester United. I think they are looking at getting rid of him. They are definitely exhausting all their options, especially it seems to be in Spain, where they're looking. If your phone rings now and a Saudi prince calls, then we know that Felix is coming. I'm not gonna lie, unfortunately, I ain't got really connections like that in Saudi. I ain't got connections like that in Saudi. I know people in the football industry in Saudi, but no one in the royal family. So that's not gonna happen. I need to meet a princess. That's my dream. My dream is to become friends with a princess of a royal family somewhere in the Middle East, preferably Qatar, preferably the royal family in Qatar. So if there's anyone from the Al Thani family, my sisters, yeah, you lot might not be into football, but I'm sure you're into shoes. I'm sure you're into bags. I'm sure you're into watches. We got a lot to talk about. Call me so we can be friends. But I do think Mason Greenwood will leave Manchester United. And right now, I just think that they might even be just planting stories out there just to kind of see what the market is saying. I think this is very unlikely. I think João Felix, I remember him being on loan at Chelsea last year. That felt like a lifetime ago. So that to me, it just seems unlikely. A pinch, it needs to be taken with the same pinch whenever says they won't do it again. Leave the crackheads alone. Let's leave the crackheads alone, guys. But on the topic of transfer news, of course, and I think someone actually asked in the chat earlier about this. Manchester United are confident they can sign Michael Olise and Jared Branthwaite this summer. Now, these are two players, obviously Premier League proven, Premier League experience. Jared Branthwaite is the epitome of exactly what Sir Jim Ratcliffe wants. English Premier League proven. That's it. Like that, literally, that is exactly what he wants. So Sir Jim Ratcliffe might get it. But I think the biggest thing is money. Money talks, bullshit walks. That's my favorite saying. Money talks, bullshit walks. But Wajid just did a madness in the chat. Gifted 20 memberships. 2-0. There's bear of you lot just getting memberships right now. Big 20 W's in the chat for Wajid, community king here, always gifting memberships. I appreciate the support. If you just got a membership right now, fucking hell, you just did another 20. Excuse my language, stuff a lot. Excuse my language, guys. You know I don't like to swear. I don't like to swear, but he just did 220s. He did 220s, and I ain't talking about the pandemic. Aye, aye, aye. You hear that? He did 220s, guys. If you understand that line, then you are a gangster just like I am. He did 220s. It's not the pandemic. Big up to Wajid. Oh my God. Bear, you lot got memberships in the chat. If you just got a membership right now, make sure you're using your emojis, guys. Another one? What? Nah, you lot are pulling my leg. You lot. Oh, YouTube is bugging out. It's saying it's 60, but YouTube is bugging out right now. Get them. Get them. I didn't even get a membership, but you know what? I'm going to slap some emojis in the chat. I'm going to slap some emojis in the chat. Oh, let me go up. It's 40. Yeah, now it's 40. Let me see who got memberships. Okay, hold on. Ed, Phil, Liam, Lee, Im, Iksham, Ahmed, Jimmy, Pyramid Scheme, Wes, Starlord, JJ, Born Vex, Planet Mo, Romario, CB, Don Savage, Duran, Next Cock Eye TV. That's oh wait, no, there's more. MC12, Imiz, Courtney, Neil, King, Josh, flipping out, Wilson. I need to stop after this. Ramo, Evan, Jonathan, Mark, Aya, Matome. I'm waiting for United to win a Prem. And Mason and Sheikh and Suleiman Soso. Damn, I thought Derek, Christopher. What? Am I never getting to the end? Okay, I got to the end. Let me scroll back up now. Big up to Wajid. Be sure to listen. If you lot got a membership in the chat, be sure to thank him for that. W's in the chat for Wajid. Luckily for you lot gonna get to see the exclusive member content this weekend. That's coming. There's a lot of content that's coming this weekend, and you lot will get to see that. But on the topic of transfers, Jared Branthwaite, Michael Elise. Am I the only one that's not really feeling Elise, and I'm not really feeling Branthwaite? Branthwaite is a left-sided centre back. What's going to happen? Are we getting rid of Lissandro? Are we getting rid of Martinez? Are we going to play Martinez at right-sided centre back? Then we're going to have two left-footed centre backs. I think a bigger priority for Manchester United should be signing a right-sided centre back first. Tadibo should be What did Elise do to you? Nothing. He didn't do nothing to me. I'm just saying. The only thing about Elise for me is that I think he's a great player. I think he's very talented. I think he's very, very talented. However, it makes me wonder, what does that mean for other players already at the club? What does that mean for Ahmad? What does that mean for Garnacho? I think Ahmad hasn't had a fair chance of getting a first starting, like a role as a starter. He hasn't had that chance. And now he won't have that when Elise comes, because Elise would be the starter. 60 million for Elise, I don't think that's really out of it. However, they are saying that Palace want at least 60 million, whilst Branthwaite could be available for as little as 40 million. I don't believe that. I don't believe that he's coming, his minimum price, his maximum that United could kind of get for him is 40. I'm seeing Everton valuing him at 70. They're valuing him at 80. They're saying that Everton have to sell him before the end of June for PSR reasons, and obviously the financial football year ends at the end of June. Paul Pogba saying, "Mina, are you Eric Ten Hag in?" I don't care. I don't care anymore. I don't care if he stays. I don't care if he leaves. I just want this to be solved. I'm very indifferent. I don't know if you lot, I don't know. Do you have to sit? One thing I realized about football fans is like you have to sit on one side of the argument. If you sit in the middle, they say you're sitting on the fence. But if you're indifferent about it, you're indifferent about it. Like I've sat here many times criticizing Eric Ten Hag, and I've sat here many times defending him. But right now, I do think that if he stays, it's not because they believe in his project. I don't think he stays because they believe in the project. I think he stays because the guy that they want, they're holding out for him. Like, I'm gonna stay on that forever. I'm gonna join the fence. Is there room? I genuinely think that Eric Ten Hag has made his mistakes. Personally, do I think he should have left? I think he should have left. However, if he stays, I'm not gonna cry about it. And why is someone in my neighborhood screaming outside? But yeah, I'm not gonna cry about it. I'm not gonna be like tear down the all this stuff on my wall and be like, that's it, I'm done. I just genuinely believe if Eric Ten Hag stays, it's not because INEOS buy into the project that he's trying to build. INEOS are gonna wait for their man, and so Eric Ten Hag is just a stop. He's just a stop in their journey, and it's very unfortunate. But back to the topic of Elise. Someone mentioned in the chat that United should get Mukiele. I remember writing an article, I want to say 2 years ago. Get Mukiele of PSG, maybe. I remember writing an article about 2 years ago. This is when I used to write articles. I think it was a piece I wrote for The Athletic at the time. And I was talking about people that United should sign. And at the time, it was Mukiele was one of the players that I mentioned. Malacia was a player that I mentioned. I haven't really kept up with Mukiele while he's been at PSG. I know he hasn't really played much. He's obviously been competing for, I think, the right-hand side as well as, if he's played on the left-hand side sometimes. But he hasn't really played much because he's competing with Hakimi and Nuno Mendes on the other side. Would he fit into INEOS's plan? One thing I'll say is I haven't really seen anything about fullbacks. I haven't seen anything. Frimpong, I don't want to hear anyone say Frimpong, yeah, because Frimpong is not a right back. The Dutch manager Koeman actually said it today. He said he called up. He announced obviously his Netherlands squad for the Euros. Xerxes missed out on that, but he said I brought Frimpong as a right winger. Frimpong is not a fullback. That guy cannot defend as a fullback should defend. By the way, when I was watching the Europa League thing, when I was watching Europa League final, that guy was playing so advanced. He was playing literally like as a false. He was playing so forward and so next to the striker. I thought this guy is not a fullback, and I never want to hear anyone saying that. However, the idea of, I don't know, man, guys, I'm sure there's better centre backs out there. From what I've watched of Jared Branthwaite, I think the false right winger, he's literally a false. That's the perfect way to describe him. He's a false right winger. When I watched Jared Branthwaite a few times, I think I watched him against Spurs, and then obviously when United played Everton, and then I've watched a handful of Everton games this season, but I just don't get it. I don't know what the hype is around him. Not saying that he's not good, by the way. I'm not saying he's not good, but I just think United could definitely find better centre-backs out there. And a left-sided centre-back should not be the main food that they're trying to get so early into the transfer window. By the way, they're holding out for 70, 80 million. The ball is in Manchester United's court now. They have to sell for PSR reasons. Otherwise, they're getting another point deduction sometime soon. They're going to have to sell him. Manchester United believe they can get him for 40 million if they just hold out until later into June. Of course, he's going to England as well. So whether or not they feel reassured that he will sign with them, then that's a different kind of conversation. But I just genuinely think that the English tax is so real. It's so real. Kadeem, who's an Everton fan, says he's quality minnow. Kadeem just wants us to believe that. He wants us to believe that, so we pay the 70, 80 million. I think it was reported as well in this same place that this report is coming from. It said that they have to sell a big asset. Everton have to sign a big asset. They have to sell Onana or they have to sell Branthwaite for some money. And maybe it's because the deals aren't coming in for Onana. Maybe because the interest is not coming in for Onana, so they're kind of moving. He's kind of moving away. Everton are kind of moving away from trying to sell Onana, and they're trying to focus on making Branthwaite a bit more sellable. Branthwaite got PR. Listen, if you are an English player and you are one of the better players in your team, and you're in the Premier League, teams will sniff around you. Especially when. Yeah, by the way, especially when Sir Jim Ratcliffe has come out and said, make Manchester British again. That's basically what he says. He wants to bring in the best young British talents. Bro, I would take, you lot might hate me, but I'd take Tomori. Like, I would take Tomori before I take Brandweight. Let me just whisper that before you lot beat me up. I just, I gotta whisper that. Ed says, devil's advocate, Minna. Leacher was key to Eric Ten Hag's improvement. Clearly, if he gets hurt again with Sheg, so they need a left-sided centre-back. Even if not him, 100% I agree, United need a left centre-back, bro, but you don't go out and pay 80 million for a left centre-back backup. You don't do that. Branthwaite, I don't think he will go out, by the way, and leave Everton to come to United and sit on the bench. I don't think he's going to do that. He's not like how Calvin Phillips did it for City, and that was the end of his career. I think anyone that's going to come to Manchester United right now is going to come for the purpose of being a starter. And there are a lot of positions, I think, at Manchester United right now in that starting 11 that's up for grabs. I think, can we say how many people have their spots solidified, meaning like you will be the number one choice? I say Kobbie Mainoo and Bruno. Everybody else, I think, Lisandro Martinez, obviously subject to fitness and whether he's fit. Onana, okay, cool. Other than that, I'm thinking right centre back, we ain't got no one there. Diogo Dalot, okay, cool. You got your spot solidified. Left back, that spot's available. Kobbie's partner, that spot's available. Left wing, I think that spot's available. Right wing, I think that spot's available. Like, I'm being brutally honest. I'm being very, very brutally honest. Phil Moore says Arsenal purchased Gabriel and Saliba for 55 million in total 4 years ago. Our recruitment department needs to do their jobs. I think Saliba is a very good example with, the way that Arsenal changed their recruitment strategy, because they brought him in, sent him on loan, and then brought him back. That works for them. All whilst, by the way, they could have chose to keep him. This is when they had other defenders, like crack defenders at the Emirates. They knew that his development was better, and it was better for him to go to somewhere in France and play there and come back. That works for them. Manchester United aren't in a position, I think, to do that. Or maybe someone could argue and say, well, maybe we should replicate something like that, where, we can bring in players who are not fully developed yet, but are nearly about to be developed, and then send them on loan or something like that, give them time to become a starter. I think Manchester United right now, in that back line, they need starters. I think they need starters. That's why you look at the young players that we're linked for. For me, Todibo, no-brainer. I mean, what's the point of Sir Jim Ratcliffe being Manchester United owner if it doesn't make transfers easier for us between Manchester United and Nice? Like, that's the only thought process that I kind of have. Big up to Troy Superstar with the super chat. Says, anyone else waiting for Ten Hag second like me? Can't wait. I don't think anybody's waiting for his second, bro. I think it might just be you. You might be standing at the bus stop by yourself. Actually, I think there's quite a few of you lot in the chat. That are waiting for his second as well. But Troy Super, there you go. Matt says, shout out Troy, our time will come, bro. Wadjid says, Jim Ratcliffe is trying to bring in as many British people as he can to show we don't need Europe and we could do it ourselves, just in case the Nice and Europe thing becomes a problem. Hashtag Brexit football. He did also, by the way, Sir Jim Ratcliffe was a staunch supporter of Brexit, of the UK being independent and being able to work by themselves. Like, from a political perspective, of course, if you guys are not from the UK, you might not be familiar with what Brexit is, but I'm pretty sure, let me double check before, but I'm pretty sure he was for Brexit. Yeah, he was a prominent backer. Sir Jim was a prominent backer of leaving the European Union in 2016, but now, and this is the interview he did recently on Sky, but now he has issues with how Brexit was delivered by the prime ministers. He said, Brexit sort of unfortunately didn't turn out as people anticipated because Brexit was largely about immigration. I think what he's trying to allude to was the fact that the prime minister at the time, or the people campaigning, were making immigration the face of the campaign, whereas he's speaking about it from a business perspective. I mean, bro, you literally live in Monaco. You literally live in Monaco. So I don't know how you can say that you want to make your club. Yeah, like, I think he's trying to replicate in the club what he was trying to achieve from supporting Brexit. Each to their own, though. Each to their own. Troy Superstar with a super chat says, De Zerbi, my number one. Anyone but Ten Hag. Ten Hag out now. No mo. He says, no mo Ten Hag. I think, guys, I think Troy is fed up with Ten Hag. I think he wants him out. Now, something a bit lighthearted, guys, so that we can laugh about it. You lot are, let me go through what you lot said. So Jim proving himself to be the Brexit goblin I hope he wouldn't be. Naively, delusionally hoped he was just a boring old man, not an actual knob like he's looking like right now. I think everyone kind of knew. I think I knew what Sir Jim Ratcliffe's position was when he kind of spoke about make Manchester again, or something like that. Or he said, you know, from that I said I know what I'm getting from his campaign, the vibe that I'm getting from him. And then later on coming out and saying stuff like, come on, Troy, bro, come on, Troy, don't do this, Troy, don't do this, Troy. He said, at this stage, even Southgate will do, anyone but Ten Hag. The hate for Ten Hag is so real from Troy that he's saying, I'll take a man in a waistcoat. A waste man in a waistcoat. No way. No way. I can't believe that. Who will be Manchester United's first signing this summer? Like, I don't know. I don't know who will be United's first signing. I think Elise, because you know why? When last season, when Manchester United's season ended, the first couple of weeks of, leading up to the transfer window, who are we heavily linked to? Mason Mount. I thought that was a transfer we were never going to see. I didn't think that was going to see daylight, but that transfer did end up seeing daylight. So, and that ended up being the first signing for the season. So for that reason, with her way that the links were so heavy for Elise over the last couple of months, I definitely think that Elise will probably be the first signing. I think that will be. But this Jared Branthwaite thing, it seems to be picking up a lot. And if he does become the first signing or the second signing, I don't know. I'm feeling a bit That's the easiest way for me to kind of say it. I'm feeling a bit if he somehow ends up getting Jared Branthwaite, or if we end up buying Jared Branthwaite for about a good 70, 80 million. Some more recent news. I feel like all the news that's out and about right now about Manchester United is about Jared Branthwaite, which is fully making me believe that we will end up with him. But Jamie Jackson is reporting that Manchester United want to sign Jared Branthwaite to form a first-choice centre-back partnership with Lisandro Martinez, with Everton open to selling if the valuation of 60 to 70 million is met. So that basically means, it kind of answers the question that I was asking before. Is this guy going to be a starter, or is he going to be, are we going to play two left-sided centre-backs? How's that going to work? Are we going to move? Imagine we move Lisandro Martinez to DM, and then we sign Todibo, and then Branthwaite and Todibo is the centre-back partnership. What Jamie Jackson here is suggesting is that the back is going to be led by Jared Branthwaite and Lisandro Martinez. I just don't know how that's going to happen. Personally, I just don't know how that's going to happen. Troy says, Minna, be honest, who's better, Ten Hag or Shall we debate this, guys? I gotta leave soon because otherwise my sister's gonna beat me up for being late. So I got like I can run the stream for about another 20 or so minutes. I can do that. Let me just grab up some graphics because you know me, guys. I like visuals in it when I'm doing these kind of streams. I like to make it kind of interactive. I want to hear you lot's thoughts. Go on. I need a picture. Let me find a nice picture of Southgate. Is it even possible to find a nice picture of him? Here you go. There you go. Found one. Just like that. We're gonna debate. I can't believe I've sucked myself into debating a question like this from Troy. But I'm gonna talk about it because Troy sent a super chat, so I'm obliged to do so. I would take anybody on this earth over Southgate. I would take anybody over Southgate. Let me just say that. I think people's dislike for Erik Ten Hag is so personal at this point. Like, I genuinely feel like the dislike for for Ten Hag is so personal and sometimes borderline a bit vindictive that people are trying to downplay him as a manager and use people like Southgate as an example. Who was that dead manager, guys? That in '98, who was the England manager? The guy that when Beckham famously got sent off. Oh, I forgot his name, but I would take him. I would actually take him. I'm not even being funny. Let me find his name. They got pictures of him. Kevin Keegan. No. Yeah, Glenn Hoddle. Sorry, Glenn Hoddle. Yes. Hoddle. I'll take Hoddle. Is he dead? Let me actually not say that because he might be dead. Nope, he's very much alive. He's very, very much alive. What is he up to now? Let me see what he's up to recently. He released the autobiography like 3 years ago. Okay, so he's still about. He had a heart attack in 2018. I don't know if he can handle the Manchester United job. Okay, never mind. But the fact that Southgate, has achieved. Southgate, and you lot even might say I'm being mean, but Southgate has won the same number of trophies with England, as Steve McLaren. Steve McLaren, the current Manchester United assistant coach, was an interim. He wasn't even an interim. He was a manager for like a year. Didn't qualify for 2008 Euros, got sacked. Yeah. Southgate has been in the England dugout 8 years. 8 years. That is a failure. I don't think people talk about it enough. I actually don't think people talk about it enough. Let's see all the stuff that he's done since being an England coach. World Cup 2018, 4th place. Nations League, 3rd place. Nations League, the 2 years after that, 9th place. Euros 2020, 2nd place. Nation League after that, 15th place. How the fuck do you finish 15th? World Cup 22, 6th place. We got knocked out in the quarters. I'm not being funny. But out of every manager, can I say, out of every manager at England, this guy has had the longest time. He's had the same time as Bobby Robson. Bobby Robson had 8 years. Alf Ramsey had 9 years. At least he won the 66 World Cup. He won the 66 World Cup. You lot are making me go back to the 60s. I think it's damn right disrespectful to compare Southgate to Ten Hag and even suggest that this guy Southgate could be better than him. Now, that does not take away what I said earlier, because like I said, a part of me might still kind of feel like INEOS want him. But just because INEOS might want him doesn't mean I do. So Troy, whatever you're on, bro, come off it. Troy says Ten Hag lost 19 games, worst manager ever. Nothing personal. All right, he's saying it's nothing personal, and I respect that. He's saying it's nothing personal. But big up to everyone. Just bare yippity yap. I'm just yapping too much at this point, guys. I'm just yapping way too much. Like I ain't got shit to go and do. Excuse my language. Be sure to hit the like button, guys. This is. Hey, if you guys have ever eaten a cold plate of beans, that is disgusting. Beans is cold beans. I love beans. Yeah, you know the Brit in me loves beans. Yeah, who can say no to a full English? Yeah, but cold beans is disgusting. It feels like you're eating rocks. It actually feels like you're eating rocks. So to even if we were to compare Southgate to a food, Matt is saying he's a plate of cold beans, and that says enough. That actually says enough. Southgate is ready sorted crisp, man. Move. Ready sorted crisp. Low-key kind of nice. I can't lie. Low-key is kind of I can't lie. Minute you've eaten beans and banana. Nah, that's where I draw the line. Beans and banana is where I draw the line, guys. I love a nice English breakfast, toast, beans, halal sausage, egg, all of that kind of stuff. I love that. Staffy's on a mad one. I need to get Staffy on here soon. And I know he's a staunch Ten Hag disliker as well. Alistair with a good point here says, just curious, because last season all we wanted was a trophy because it was 6 years. Now all of a sudden we want more. We need to realize we have been shit since 2005. Alistair saying United have been crap since 2005, nearly 20 years ago. Fergie papered over the cracks. I feel like the success of Fergie definitely might have papered over the recruitment cracks, or the structure, because essentially when Sir Alex Ferguson left, everything kind of collapsed. So he did definitely, I think, paper over the issues at the club, and you were seeing it more now. But from a footballing perspective, United were good. We were good in 08, we were good in 09. 3 finals. Ten Hag talks about getting to 2 finals in 2 years. Sir Alex Ferguson got to 3 Champions League finals in 4 years. I don't think we talk about that enough. We don't talk about it enough. And the reason why we lost is because we lost to probably one of the best teams assembled of that era, with that flipping minion that was coming through to go on to be one of the greatest players of all time. United won the double in 08. Fergie didn't really paper over the cracks in a footballing way, but maybe he might be alluding to the fact that maybe from a structure type of way, the way that the club is run, etc. Bear in mind, 05 is when the Glazers took over United. 2005 is exactly when the Glazers took over United. Had to make sure you add halal in there. I'm not trying to have people telling me that I'm eating haram food. I'm not having that. Big up to everyone, guys. Be sure to hit the like button. Be sure to subscribe. We will be back tomorrow, God willing. We will be back, I think, at 4:30. I need to double check. And then we got on Friday, we're going to do another stream, talking some Champions League. We're going to talk about some Champions League. We're going to put the United talk maybe to the side. On the weekend, we've got a lot of member-only content coming. So listen, if you're not a member or you didn't get gifted a membership, then become a member so that you do not miss out on some of the best content that's probably coming on the channel. And we got a lot more stuff as well. EAFC streams will be back. What's it called? Make United Great Again, I think. Minute streams at the most random times, always when I'm working. I have no I'm not gonna lie, 4 o'clock streams were the goal, but I realized 4 o'clock is a very odd time to stream because some people are at work, some people are at school, some people are going to sleep, some people are still waking up. Time zones is crazy. So I realized like 6 p.m. is a good time to stream. But then again, everybody streams at that time. So we just gotta make sure people come through. But big up to everyone. We are 5 likes off 100. So make sure you hit the like button on your way out. My sister's gonna kill me because I'm late to pick her up. So I gotta dip, guys. As always, you don't know what it is. It's your girl Minna. I end the stream like this. Justice in the world, justice, peace in the world, peace in Palestine. May Allah bring victory to our brothers there, those who are being murdered, brutally murdered by a regime, having their land taken, being bombed beyond belief. I don't even know. Sometimes I don't know what to say because there's nothing more I could say that no one else has said in the world. But I hope people are held accountable. I hope leaders are held accountable for supporting the genocide that's happening. Free Palestine, always and forever. Guys, I'm out. I'll see you tomorrow. Peace.